Well, hello again. Here we go with our second class that I am sharing with you via YouTube and Facebook and email and all those good things. I hope that you will enjoy it. It's nice to still connect and come together even though we cannot be face to face at this time. And so before we get started, on the Accessible Yoga blog this past week, there was a post about props. So in Accessible Yoga, we use quite a few props, and one of them is, of course, the chair, and that's the most important one. But we also will use a strap at times, especially if we want to support ourselves, keeping a tall spine, maybe when we're warming up the joint, or when we're wanting to expand to reach here, and that's hard, and then we can use it. We use the strap to help us get the same benefits. Those are just a couple of examples. Well, you may not have a yoga strap laying around the house, so I would invite you to just use the tie from your robe, or a really long necktie. Have a little bit of width to it, it's kind of nice because that's just a little more comfortable, but not necessarily anything stretchy, something nice and solid. So, just see what you can find and then you can have that to use. Another prop that we use a lot of are blocks. Blocks are really nice, like when we come to a forward fold and we maybe don't want to put our head below our heart. And we can still rest our hands, if not on the floor, we can rest them here on the blocks. And then just relax our head and neck. And there are different heights too, which makes it nice. Sometimes we use them for a seated downward dog to walk our hands out like so. Press into the block. So that's an option. Sometimes our feet don't reach the floor if we're short, and we can put our feet up on blocks, which is really nice, and you could use a couple of books to do that. Just make sure they're the same height. So we use blocks in a lot of ways. If you don't have blocks, which I'm guessing most of you probably don't, you have a couple of other options. A friend of mine, Kirsten Radke, physical therapist and a yoga teacher, she suggested using rolls of toilet paper. So I love that. I can have them down here, and I can walk my toilet paper out for my downward dog, and do that, and walk it back in as I rise. And if those are not quite high enough, like for forward fold, you could use a roll of paper towels. And I hope a lot of us have a lot of toilet paper towels on hand right now. And if not, you just need a couple. So if you could, just use this and come down onto it. Granted, they're not as stable as a block, but they'll do it. They'll give you the support you need. It's not like you're gonna stand on it or anything. So I just wanted to share with you some options for props that you can use during your practice. You don't need to have the fancy stuff. And you can see I don't have a fancy yoga chair or a folding chair. I have this really old chair, really old, and it works just fine. It's nice if the chair doesn't have arms, because it gives you a little more movement that way. So, enough about props. Let's begin. And before we close our eyes to center, I'd like to share with you a mudra, which is a hand gesture with a special intention. And then this mudra is the Purna Hridaya mudra, and it is the gesture of an open heart. So if you bring your hands in front of the heart, and then just cross your fingers just at that first knuckle, and then as you bend them, bring your thumbs downward, and you create a little heart shape right here. Just hold that to your heart. You can relax the elbows down a little bit. So I want to invite you to hold the Purna Hridaya mudra as we're centering today, but But if the hands or arms or shoulders get tired, absolutely rest your hands in your lap. This is a gesture of an open heart, and its benefits are that it calms the mind and it helps to create space between thoughts. We're having a lot of thoughts these days that we didn't ever think we'd be having. So it helps to create some space and calm the mind. So let's go ahead and find our legs, pressing our feet firmly into the floor, having a nice, long, tall spine. Relax the shoulders, relax your jaw. And then you can rest your hands on your lap, or if you would like, you can create the Purna Hridaya Mudra. Create that heart shape. And then just close the eyes or soften the gaze. And just breathe naturally. Just take a notice of the body, any areas that might feel a little tight or a little discomfort. I'd like you to imagine taking a nice long inhale and just sending that breath there. And perhaps releasing that discomfort on the exhale. And you can continue to do that as we center. Just taking about a half hour today to disconnect from the outside world and to come to our center, to practice, to breathe, to connect. And finding a place in your heart to place something for which you are feeling especially grateful today. Something or someone. And just continue with your breath, the eyes closed. This mudra supports the opening of the subtle heart by expanding the breath in the chest, the side ribs, and upper back. Through welcoming thoughts and emotions, whatever they may be, they lose their heavy and dense quality, allowing us to witness them as waves of pure energy, and allowing those waves to arise and pass away. Just as the waves lap up onto a shore, they go back and forth. And I love the idea of welcoming all of our thoughts and emotions and knowing that by doing so, they lose their heaviness because we welcome them in and then we release them as they go back out. Let's take a moment to breathe in to our belly, first of all, and exhale. And this time, breathing the breath from the belly up to expand the rib cage, front, back, and sides. Let's inhale, expanding the belly, all sides of the rib cage, and exhale. Take a couple of more breaths like that, where you're inhaling, filling the belly and all of the rib cage, and exhale. Go ahead and do a couple more on your own. Then when you're ready, release the mudra, open your eyes with a soft gaze, And we'll inhale and bring our hands to sky. Exhale toward earth. Breathing in. Breathing out. One more. Beautiful. And we'll begin by warming up the joints of our body. So let's go ahead and extend our legs out just a little bit. Let's start with our toes. We'll curl the toes. You can do the fingers as well and splay. They kind of want to do it anyway, so we might as well let them play along. Just really bringing everything in tight and then releasing that. And then with your feet, place your feet flat on the floor, lift all of your toes, and then think about just putting one toe down at a time, starting with your little toe. And then lifting one toe at a time, starting with the big toe. Just kind of letting the toes move and roll back and forth. These toes are really important. They help hold us up. We need to give them a little love. Then we'll go ahead and with our feet flat on the floor, we'll raise the heels up off the ground and just come up on our toes. Just feel that stretch across the top of the foot and the ankle and lower. And then lift the front part of your toes so the heels are on the floor. The rest of the foot is up. Just go ahead and do that a few times, nice and slow. Going for range of motion. Feeling the sensation in that joint, waking it up, moving it in a way maybe it's not used to moving, and then lower your toes to the ground. That's great. All right, so next up, just extend one leg, and we're just going to warm up the knee joint. So you can slide that foot back and forth on the floor in front of you if you would like. Or if you would like, you can support your leg, top half of your leg with your hands and do this. Sometimes that can be a little bit of a strain on the back. So that's where the tie to your robe comes in. You can just go ahead and use that. You can maintain a nice long spine. And take it nice and easy. We're not going for speed. We really want to notice every part of this. And then you could bring both parts of that to the side, and you can just kind of warm up that hip by doing some hip circles. If you're not using strap today, maybe you can bring one next time. Okay, I'll do this side without one just in case you don't have one. So we're going to start by just warming up that knee joint. And you don't even necessarily have to hold the leg. If you can raise your leg just a little bit, and you can just bend and extend the leg, warming up that joint. And then you have the chair to support you, so you could press down into that for support as you warm up the hip joint. So many ways to do things. Just have to find what works for us. All right, beautiful. All right, let's go ahead and do a few cat-cows. So we'll begin by putting our hip creases here. Our heels of our hands and our hip creases. Our hip creases are where they are. We're not going to be moving those. And we'll inhale and lift the heart. And then exhale, take the hands out to the knees. Just keep them on the legs. And lean back. Inhale, come forward. Exhale, relax back. Breathing in and breathing out. And then we'll come to seated position in our seated mountain, finding our legs, pressing our feet down into the earth. And we'll inhale, bring the arms up. Exhale, bring both hands down to one knee. Breathe in And exhale, we'll go down to the opposite knee. This time, as we bring our hands down to the opposite knee, we'll lift that leg. That's my dog. She needs to have her nails trimmed, but the vet's closed. Oh, I'm just going to bring your hands down to your legs. All right. Okay, so let's go ahead and do some nice shoulder rolls here. And go back the other direction. Carry a lot of tension in our shoulders. And then shrug them all the way up to your ears. Maybe even lift the chin slightly. And press down. Shrug up. Press down. And just kind of let our arms swing a little. Like we're moving through water, as Carrie Sim says. Slow it down. And now we'll begin to lift the leg. So as an opposite arm comes forward, we'll lift that leg. And then we'll do the other leg. So we're really slowing it down now. Slow motion marching. Quiet marching. No band. Just warming up the body, getting it ready to move. And then just go ahead and relax, and we'll just sway a little back and forth. Let's bring some fluidity and relaxation into the body. Then we'll go ahead and bring our hands up to our sides, and as we do so, we're just going to rotate the wrist one direction, and then go the opposite direction as we lower those down. And bring our hands out to sides, pressing out. This is we're pressing on the inside of a doorway. And then downward. So we'll press out and up. And downward, lower. And just bring the hands back to your lap. We'll bring our hands before the heart. Right, and as we kind of slide one direction, we'll take our gaze the opposite direction. Back to center. Inhale. And as we exhale, we'll go the opposite way. Inhale. Exhale to center. Inhale again. This time, lift the leg on the side of the direction that you're facing. And just breathe here. And come back to center. We'll go the other side. Lifting that leg. And back to center. That's my dog. Okay, it's a lot easier to ignore distractions when you're in a studio than when you're in your home. So this is good practice. I just want to acknowledge that for you, that sometimes Keo goes in the family room and barks for unknown reasons. So sorry, I can't really yell at her because she's getting older. And, you know, just got to give her a lot of love. All right, here we go. So let's go ahead and begin with some sun salutations. So when I do sun salutations in a chair, I like to widen my stance. It just gives a little more room for my body right here. Now you can decide. You might want to, for this first time through, maybe you want to use a roll of paper towels to come down to. Even if you don't have that, when we come to a forward fold, you can rest your elbows on your legs. So we'll do it that way this week. All right, so here we go. We'll inhale. Exhale, forward fold. Just bring the forearms to the legs, coming forward. Relax the head and neck. Inhale up. Exhale, lift the right leg. Inhale, and exhale, lift the left leg. Inhale, and forward fold. Coming back down to the forearms. Maybe this time, maybe you want to try bringing your hands down a little farther, depending on what feels good to you. And then bringing the hands up on the legs, pressing yourself back up, mountain, and exhale. This time we'll inhale as we lift our heart, and you can just put your hands on the side of your chair as you lift your heart for Cobra. Inhale, and exhale, Aikyo. Inhale, come back to mountain. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, we'll come up and we'll do a downward dog where we pretend the floor is in front of us. So we're pressing out through our hands and we're also pressing out through our feet. Our feet are not necessarily wide, but they can be. We're just pressing out as if you were pressing in to the floor. Take a breath here. Inhale. And exhale, bring that back in. Inhale to mountain. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale to mountain. And exhale, hands to heart. Yes, you're a good girl. You're a good girl. Okay. So next we'll do some crescent moon. You can do this seated or standing. I will show you what it's like standing. If you can follow the same cues seated. And we'll do it twice on each side. I'll do it once standing and once seated. You can choose whichever way works best for you and your body today. So I'm going to stand with my feet hip distance apart. Drawing that waistband, relax the shoulders back and down. And then I will bring my hands together and clasp all of them except that forefinger and raise up. If this feels good in your shoulders, you can do this. If not, you can bring it down a little, and that's perfectly fine too. So we're down here, and then we're going to make our crescent moon by extending out to one side, and then the direction I'm going, I lift the heel of that foot, and I feel a squeeze in that side body and expansion on the outside. And come back to center. Take a breath. And we'll go ahead and come to the other side. So this hip is going outward. I'm going the other way to try to make a shape of that crescent moon. And then I lift this heel, and I'm able to squeeze more on one side and expand more on the other side. Come back to center, and we'll do that one more time on each side. So we'll go ahead and go to the other side. You could lift your heel there in the chair. Come back to center. We'll go to the other side. Center, and bring your hands before the heart. Just take a couple of breaths here. Take a moment to pause. Christine Weber says the pause is more important than the pose. We pause to notice. We pause to notice what's happening with our body. Beautiful. All right, let's go ahead and do some moving mountain. So we'll bring our arms up and come up on our toes. So we're lifting the heels and the arms. On the inhale, lowering on the exhale. Breathing in, heels up. Exhale, slowly lowering the heels to the ground. You can do this standing as well. Breathing in. You're up on your tiptoes. And exhale. Now we'll do some funky stuff with the arms. We'll inhale, one goes out to the side. And exhale. Other side, breathing in. And out. And keep moving at your own pace, but take it nice and easy. It's not aerobics class. Thank goodness. All right, now we'll bring both arms up and come up on our toes and stay here for a couple of breaths. And then relax, lowering our heels to the floor and bringing our hands to our hearts. All right, let's do a little movement with our warrior one. Now last time I showed you how you can scoot over and then you can just have this leg just kind of hanging out over here, or it could even be over here. I'll show you another option today, and I'll move the chair to help you see how it works. And you can scoot around and you can sit like this. And it give you a little more stability, and you can still do that, but you have this here, and it gives you a little more support than when it's just space over there. Okay, so we'll have our front foot, except you can see my foot is not flat on the floor because I'm short and I gotta scoot up a little bit. There we go. So this front foot needs to be on the floor and your knee is back. You can reach back with the opposite leg, and you have your chair here for support should you need that stability. We'll inhale. Just take a few breaths here. Pressing down into the front leg. Pressing down into the back leg. All the muscles of our legs are engaged. Warrior one, Virabhadrasana one. Stable, courageous. If this bothers your shoulders, just relax them down. And you can hold your hands or arms in a different position. One more breath. And release the arms and relax the legs. You can use that side of the chair to help you as you bring that back foot forward. Now, while we're over here, we'll go ahead and do Parigasana or gate pose. These props out of the way. Like in class, right? Okay, here we go. So we will extend this side leg. Front leg is still bent. We're extending this side leg, but keeping the soft bend in the knee. And we'll just simply, we're not reaching forward, more like we're going to the side. Just reaching down our leg. And we don't have to go to our toe. We don't even have to go to our shin. It's a matter of having this nice line here. And then this arm can come up and over. We'll just breathe here for a moment. Pressing both feet into the earth. Building strength. When you're ready, we'll relax the arms down, come back up. We're going to heel toe that foot. So good for our feet to do that. Use the chair and kind of come on up. Now, on this other side, I'll do warrior one standing, and you can stand if you want to, or you can do it in the chair. We're just going to go ahead and go to the other side. So this time, our right foot is forward. Yeah, you have your chair here too, it's nice. Step back. Now, I like to keep my feet about as wide as these chair legs. I'm not on a balance beam, it's more like railroad tracks. It gives me a little more room to move the hips around. Just feels more comfortable. So here we are, front leg bent, back leg is straight if you're standing. And then we'll inhale, bring our arms up. And we'll be here pressing into our feet. Maybe check your knee to make sure it's not falling inward. It's just staying up there nice above your foot or ankle. Keep breathing. Pressing down through those feet, all the muscles of the legs are engaged. And then when you're ready, you just bring the hands down. You can go ahead and straighten that, or relax that front leg. And we'll go ahead and go into gate. Now, if you want to, you could do gate kneeling. That's not going to happen with my knee, especially not this one. So I'm going to do gate in the chair. So my front leg is right here and I'm extending there. I'm just going to sit up nice and tall. Just slowly, just run my arm down here. A soft bend in this extended leg till it feels comfortable. And then if I want to, I can extend this arm up and over. Now if that's bothering my shoulder, which it is, I'm going to put my hand on my head. I'm pressing my feet into the earth. Breathing. Last week we did more movement. This week we're doing more holds. We need to explore lots of different ways so you can find what you like best. And then as we come up, just slowly come up. And then I'm going to heel toe that foot around to the front. If you're kneeling, press yourself up and come into, have a seat on your chair. We'll just do some nice swaying. And if you want to, as you come one side, you could even lift your hip up off the chair a little bit. Just stay on your chair. You don't want to get too carried away. Just sway and just let things be loose. And then let's come into our mountain. And be here for a moment. Feet pressing into the earth, muscles of the legs engaged. Palms facing outward. And we'll move on. So our balance pose this week is stork. Have you ever seen The Karate Kid? Okay, you might recognize it. I have not seen that movie. I really need to watch it though. Anyway, so stork. So with stork, you have your supporting leg and the other leg rises with the knee bent, 90-degree angle, and you raise that arm. You raise both arms. And the chair you're doing this, you're feeling it for sure. And then lower that leg down. Let's see how it feels on the other side. So we'll bring our arms up and raise this leg. Be a nice long spine. And then release that down. Now, if you want to, when we do it this next time, you could try it standing. The nice thing, you have your chair, so you can stand on one side of your chair. Rooting down into the supporting leg, lifting up the opposite leg, so that knee is at a 90-degree angle, and just raise that arm. And you'll be right here. You could even explore with bringing the other hand up. You need to find your drishti. We're in a practicing balance. So whether you're on the chair, standing by the chair, or standing on the top of a rock, You need to have your focal point, your drishti. This is how we get better at focus and concentration. And then when you're ready, you can lower those down. And then we'll go to the other side. And I'll show you a different option for this side. So you could put your foot up on a chair if you wanted to do that. Okay, so I have my opposite leg supporting. I'll raise my hand. And with my foot up on that chair, it's much more stable. But I'm trying to keep this leg light and not really pressing the foot into the chair other than to assist with balance. The support, the strength is in my supporting leg. This baby right here. And when you're ready, go ahead, release that down. And there we go. So, some options for stroke. All right. So as we, let's just do a little bit of nice gentle movement. We did this last week with Warrior 2, Side Angle, and Peaceful Warrior. So we'll go ahead and our front leg will actually be out to the side, and this one's extended out. Okay. Hips facing forward, arms shoulder height. Looking out over the supporting, the bent knee. That's our front leg. And we'll inhale, exhale, come into side angle. Inhale, exhale. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. And if it bothers your neck to look up, just look down. Breathing in. And as you exhale, bring your hands before your heart. And we'll heel toe that leg back to center. Bring this one here. We'll just come to mountain for a moment. And then we'll go to the other side. So this time, the opposite leg will be the front leg, and the front leg is actually at the side. We'll extend here. Here we go. So nice long spine, not leaning, nice and straight and tall, looking out over that front leg. Inhale and exhale. Remember, you can put your hand on your hip. Inhale and exhale. And you can look down. Inhale, exhale. Inhale and exhale. Do that one more time. Inhale, and bring your hands before your heart. Heel toe that foot back to center. Bring this one back. Come into our seated mountain. And just breathe. Inhale and just bring our arms out to the sides, and exhale, twist. Take a breath here. And inhale, arms out to sides. Exhale, twist to the other side. Nice gentle twist. Take a breath here. Inhale, arms out to side, and exhale, relax down. Just kind of wiggle everything out. So I'm going to leave you in Shavasana, And I do that because some of you might want to spend 15 minutes in Shavasana. Some of you might just want to spend 5 minutes in Shavasana. Some of you 10. I don't know how long you want to be in Shavasana. But because we don't have the constraints of a class, you get to be in Shavasana as long as you choose. But I do ask that you be in it for a few minutes at least. It's very, very important. Shavasana is just to integrate all the work we've done in the body, to bring it all in, and just go ahead and relax. So what I would like to say though, before we go, I just want to remind you of our gesture of an open heart. And to remind you that when we welcome thoughts and emotions, they lose their heavy and dense quality. And they allow us to witness them, just witness or notice them as waves of pure energy. Enjoy your Shavasana. Thank you for practicing with me today. Namaste.